behind the plate, and left-hander John Cerruti on the mound.
And now, before the start of tonight's ball game, let's see how the A's match up with their American League Western Division rivals. Brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft Beer. Well, you can see the standings right there. The Chicago White Sox are actually 4/1000th of a point ahead of the Athletics in the standings in first place. So it's a virtual tie right now with the Angels 9.5 back. Interesting, last year after 71 games, the A's were in first place by 2 games, and they had a record of 44-27. So actually, the record last year was worse numerically than it is this year by 1 game. But the A's in the standings were 2 games better than they are at this point. Now let's do another matchup here for you. In club hitting, here's one of the problems the Athletics are having this year. They're only ranked number 6 in the Western Division in hitting and number 10 in the American League in hitting, and .253 batting average. Now at home runs, the A's have hit a bunch of those, 83. But Toronto, the team we're playing tonight, has hit 100 this year. Now in club fielding, the A's are tied for first with Toronto in the league. They are first in the Western Division. So that's our matchup for tonight. We'll take a look at another little look in pitching. Well, the A's have been right up there all year long in first or second place in pitching. Now that's judged on earned run average. The A's ERA right now is 3.09, and the opponents are hitting .237 against the A's, and that has all gone up just within the last 10 days or so. So there are your Miller matchup boards for tonight, and the pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays is coming out.
Left-hander,
go ahead.
John Cerruti. He has not faced the A's this season. Last year he was 0-2. There you see his numbers for this year. This is his 15th start of the season. Back when the A's were here earlier in the season, John Cerruti on the second game of that series had been sent down to the bullpen, and David Wells got the start actually against the Athletics in Oakland. But John Cerruti didn't stay down there very long due to an injury to Jimmy Key. He was back in the starting rotation, and he has been pitching very well since he did miss that 1 start. He's now held the opponents to 2 earned runs or less in his 5 of his last 6 starts. So he's a left-hander who changes speeds very well. The A's have put in an all right-handed hitting lineup, and they would just try to be hitting the ball up the middle. I think Merv Redmond says it best. They have to try to concentrate on the middle part of the field. If you try to pull a guy like John Cerruti, you're going to hit a lot of ground balls to the infield. The left side of this infield is an excellent one, with Fernandez at shortstop and Kelly Gruber at third base.
Well, Ray, you were alluding to the roof in your pregame talk here tonight and saying that they were talking about taking it off. They ended up not taking it off. So the roof is on the Sky Dome here, and it is packed to the roof here with fans as usual. They're averaging 45,908 fans per game this year. That's their average. The A's are having a great year and are averaging 35,500 per contest. So there is just no team in baseball outside of maybe the Dodgers that has a chance of drawing the number of people that they do here at the Sky Dome.
Well, if you want a ticket to this weekend, you better already have it, because all 4 ball games are already sold out. The club will enter the All-Star break 27 consecutive sellouts.
Now, I started to say they ended the season about the same way last year too, Ray. So these are the 2 top attendance teams in the American League, and they're going head-to-head. Interesting, too, we talked just a moment about it before the game. The Toronto Blue Jays went into their last series against the Boston Red Sox, their closest pursuers. By a half game, they were in front of the Red Sox when that series started. They came out of their 3.5 game back. The A's went into their series against the Chicago White Sox, came out of that still in front. But in the last game against Detroit, the A's lost while the White Sox were sweeping the California Angels. So the A's start play tonight not quite a half game out of first place.
4 percentage points. And I tell you, look at the Chicago White Sox. Tony La Russa was talking about how well they played, and they have had the last 2 road trips. They swept the Minnesota Twins in 3 ball games, swept the A's, and they swept the California Angels. So they are 9-0 in their last 9 games on the road.
Ricky Henderson gets a slow curveball. We'll see a lot of those tonight from Cerruti if he stays around. He gets it over, says plate umpire Drew Coble. So we are underway in the most marvelous place that's ever been built on this face of the earth for this kind of thing and entertainment of all kinds. The Toronto Sky Dome. Cerruti's thrown 2 slow curveballs to Ricky Henderson now. He's ahead of him at 0-2. Cerruti will give up about as many hits as innings pitched. As a matter of fact, a few more hits than innings pitched so far this year. He doesn't walk a lot of batters. He showed him 2 slow curveballs and then busted a fastball to the outside, and Ricky did not go for it.
That's what that slow curveball will do. Get you thinking about off speed. Then the fastball looks much faster.
Ricky fouls this one back. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, you talk about an impact player in the playoffs last year. Here in this ballpark, Ricky Henderson definitely was an impact player. He and Jose Canseco left him talking all around the world because the games were all televised everywhere. The A's don't have Jose in there tonight. Probably won't for the entire series. The ball to Ricky at 2-0.
I think it's a good decision on his part and the Athletics part to make sure that when he does come back, he's 100%. Because one thing you don't want to do is have him rush and have that wrist be even more tender and be hurt more and miss more time than he already has.
Well, he hates to miss this series. Henderson hits the ball in the air to left center field. Mookie Wilson is drifting back on it. Makes the catch, and there's one away. Boy, Mookie had a tough series defensively over in Boston. I'd like to remind you that the Northern California Honda dealers are going to be planting 100 trees for each A's home run in tonight's ball game.
Just throw a lot of junk in.
Went out. Here's Dave Henderson now. Well, I tell you what, this fellow in 3 games in a row came as close as you can come to hitting 3 dramatic home runs in the 9th inning to either tie or win ball game for the A's. He did manage to do it in one of them, but he had 2 other balls right to the wall in the last inning. Jerks this one foul. It's strike 1.
That's why you don't want to leave your seats at the Coliseum if you're there watching the ball game when he comes up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Actually, with anybody, because you never know the power that these guys have, the dramatics that they like to be faced with. I mean, that's a time that everybody dreams about, and you want to be successful in it.
Hindu fouls this one just below us. It can still be very high and still be below us. Believe me, we're up in a nosebleed section here. Dave Henderson has hit 13 homers this year. Cerruti has allowed 10 home runs in 15 games. 82 innings. Here's a look at where we are, and Henderson hits this one foul. And for the distance of home runs easily.
Hey, Cerruti is a sinker ball pitcher. As a matter of fact, he was working on that as he was getting the fastball up too much in the strike zone, and you get a lot of fly balls that way. If he gets the sinker down, he'll get the ground balls, and that's what he has to have.
There's how high we are, Ray. Just had a close-up on us and pulled away. Hindu takes it way outside. We're in what would be called, I guess, the 4th tier of this stadium.
It's a long walk, too.
Oh.
One thing they don't have in the Sky Dome are good elevators. If you wait for the elevator, you'll miss the ball game. Definitely will get your exercise here. Just nothing wrong with that, but sometimes in your hurry, you start sprinting up those stairs.
Just cut down on the number of trips up and down, that's all. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2 now. Well, it's been started off as if it were going to be a bad day weather-wise up here in Toronto, about 50 degrees, 20-mile-an-hour winds, and rain early in the morning. Cleared up by noon. Struck him out. 2 down.
Three and two. You can't look for the good fastball, even though Dave Henderson gets it. You could see that he had waited on his swing, and the fastball snuck by him. But that's what the off-speed type pitcher will do for you. Get you thinking about it. 3-2. You don't want to look foolish looking for the off-speed and have the fastball thrown by you.
Carney Lansford is 30 RBIs now, or 8 more than he had even at the All-Star break last year. Cerruti gets a fastball strike in on him. It's 0-1. Almost all of those very expensive hotel rooms facing the ballpark are filled tonight. The restaurants are filled. The bars filled. The seats are filled. Goodness. There's a look at the hotel rooms up there. Look at the people just leaning out. Outside. Temperature outside right now is 23 degrees, but that's not 75 degrees Fahrenheit. 75 Fahrenheit outside.
It's about 85 in here.
Want to scare you. It's been a beautiful day up here.
I wonder if Wally has a 7-second delay on that camera shot of the hotel up there.
2 balls, 1 strike. Carney slashes it foul down the right field line. We were with some natives of Toronto here today and spent a good deal of the day with them. They were talking about how people in this town will pay anything if the entertainment is right. And he said for years they're going to be coming up here paying exorbitant prices. It's inexplicable how anyone would pay what they pay for those hotel rooms and have lousy seats for a baseball game. Cerruti makes a nice pickup and throws him out. 3 up, 3 down. After a half inning, no score. Greg Myers, the catcher. Manny Lee, the second baseman, and Mookie Wilson, the center fielder. They've had basically that same lineup all year, Ray, and injury-free almost.
Defensively for the Athletics, Ricky Henderson in left, Dave in center field, Felix Jose in right field, Carney Lansford at third base, Walt Weiss at shortstop, Mike Gallego at second base, Mark McGuire at first, Terry Steinbach behind the plate. Right-hander Dave Stewart on the mound for the Athletics, looking for win number 10, and it's been a while that he has been looking for number 10. He's lost 5 of his last 6 starts. He has pitched well. The A's in the losses have scored a total of 15 runs in the 5 losses. But Dave Stewart against the Toronto Blue Jays lifetime is 8-6. However, as a member of the Athletics, he is 8-3 with a 2.26 earned run average. And I think if anybody can get a road trip started off on the right foot, and Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan set it up a lot of times where the rotation against certain ball clubs, and of course Dave's turn came up, and it's the kind of guy you like to have starting a series.
Well, he was the kind of a guy the A's needed to pick that game against the White Sox the last time he pitched against them, and at one span in that game he retired 16 batters in a row. At another span, 9 in a row, so he had 25 consecutive outs, but in between those he had 1 bad inning, and it cost him the ball game. Even though the A's did bail him out, tied up in the 9th, came back out in the 10th and lost the game. Here's Junior Felix taking outside, ball 1. One of the really unusual events of this season will have to be written up in the fact that Dave Stewart had left the dugout before the A's batted in the last half of the 9th inning and gone back into the dressing room, which is some distance from the dugout. Pitch outside a ball, and Ray, I never did confirm it, but I heard several times that he had actually even taken his uniform off and put ice on his shoulder. Had that happened?
The uniform top.
His top, yeah,
right.
And had put ice on his shoulder. Pitch outside, ball 3, and this is where Dave has gotten in trouble when he's been in trouble in most games, is with control.
Right now he's just not following through and leaving everything outside to the left-handed hitter.
And he left another one out there, and Junior Felix is on to start the ball game.
One of the things, Tito Gaston, you talked about the lineup for the Blue Jays. About a month ago, he decided to change the lineup, put Junior Felix, who had been hitting 9th, put him at the top of the order. Tony Fernandez, who had been the leadoff hitter, was moved down to number 2, and they've been very successful in that positioning in the lineup. Fernandez just not doing the thing at the top of the order, but he's good hit and run. Felix Jose, who has 10 stolen bases, is at first base. He runs well, so you have a good hitter with good bat control hitting in the second spot.
You'd look for them to be a little aggressive early in this ball game too, after losing 4 in a row over there and facing the A's, who have had a habit of jumping on top of the Toronto Blue Jays early. But we might see some things happening right here. Fernandez came out of last night's game over in Boston. early in the game. That hits the umpire and bounces fair, but it hit the umpire in foul territory, so that made it a foul ball. Tim Welke got nailed on that one.
Tony Fernandez turning, looking for a fastball. He got it inside part of the plate, and Welke tried to jump out of the way, but it found his foot. And he's not going to rub it. You can better believe that, because they've got 49,000 fans. We let him know about it.
He's right where he's supposed to be. He's outside the foul line. So if a ball does hit him, that's where it's going to be, as a foul ball. Felix got a little bigger lead now. His foot's almost up on the carpet. Stu misses outside. Dave likes to work the corners. The one game where he really got pounded this year in Detroit, he said the umpire took everything away from him except the middle 4 inches of the plate. Boy, anybody throws in there is going to get hit hard if you have to do it all night.
Fernandez, as we saw on the first pitch, trying to pull it. He has the big hole, and that's what a good hitter will do. He'll look for certain pitches.
Here goes the runner. Steiny's throw is there. Great tag by Gallego. Mike Gallego caught that ball on his back and put the tag on the sliding Felix.
If you're a catcher, this is what you like to see. As Junior Felix going in head first, which helps Mike. And there's the bounce, the throw.
Wow.
And Mike Gallego staying right there.
That is some play. He even had to catch that ball on the skip.
Yep.
I hadn't realized that originally.
He also got kicked with the left foot as he was coming in. The spike, catching his left shoulder.
Tell you what, he can flat play the game.
Yes, he can.
Well, Stu's gone to 3-1 on another hitter now. Strike two.
Pitchers try to, as you mentioned, hit the outside corner, and there's a fine line out there, you know, of staying on the corner or being outside. It's just something you work on. Sometimes a catcher has to make an adjustment, move in just a little bit if the ball's sinking too much.
Ball four. Oh, he's walked the first two batters of the game.
Let's see what happens. He's facing a couple of right-handed hitters now, and Kelly Gruber and George Bell. But this is a guy you don't want to try to make too many adjustments with, especially go to the middle of the part of the plate, because he has hit 20 home runs. Leading the American League in RBIs with 64, as he has passed Cecil Fielder.
And a .309 hitter to boot. First breaking ball of the night, and it's in the dirt outside for ball one. Well, this guy developed real quickly after he got to the big leagues, Ray. We used to hear his name a lot in the minors. And then when he got up here and they gave him that third base job, boy, as he rewarded them with some super play defensively and, of course, particularly at the plate. Good breaking ball for a strike, 1-1.
Amazing thing about Kelly Gruber, last year he had 18 home runs. That was his career high. He has already passed that by 2, and it's not even an all-star break yet. But I think this year, they talked about the baseball in 1987, the rabbit ball, the ball jumping out of the ballpark. They talk about it this year also, but people also will say that pitching is not what it has been.
John McLaren, third base coach of the Blue Jays, throws that one back in.
I think the pitching part of it goes back to spring training, where spring training was shortened. Might be proof that you do need the extra time, especially for the pitching staffs.
Well, Kelly Gruber shows up in a lot of the American League stats. He's 4th in home runs. He is 1st in runs batted in. He is 1st in runs scored. He is 9th in hitting average. So he is all over the place. He is even 4th in multi-hit games. Having an outstanding offensive year. He is leading the league in number of extra base hits. Stu left him up there with a great pitch. That might have been his first fork ball of the night. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly what it was. You can tell by the way the ball goes straight down. The breaking ball would break more away from the hitter. But Stewart not afraid to throw it to right-handers or left-handers.
Or here's another guy. Look at this. How about these guys batting back-to-back? Bell 17 homers and 56 RBIs. You wonder Gruber's had so many that there were any left up there for Bell, who bats out of more of a deep crouch than about any power hitter in the league right now. Stu misses ball one. I was asking Gene Tennis, the hitting coach of the Toronto Blue Jays, about a lot of their players tonight, and I said, who is your best pure hitter on this ball club?
Let me guess.
Who?
The designated hitter, John Olerud.
He said he's going to be. He said probably right now the most consistent guy they got is George Bell,
right,
even ahead of Gruber. Yeah, when Olerud comes up, we'll tell you about him. Tennis talked about him for 5 minutes down there.
And probably just highlighted it.
Yeah.
Because see, kid can hit.
There's Olerud. He's got a helmet on. He's ready if they need him. Take 2 more batters to get up after Bell before they get to him. Fernandez, good lead at first at holding. Bell hits it deep to left center field, but not deep enough. Felix Jose's got it, and Dave Stewart leaves a man on. Identification on the A's TV network.
This is KPIX, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose.
And at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Mark McGwire, the first baseman, leads it off for the Athletics. For those of you who were saying that dummy doesn't know the difference in Ricky Henderson and Felix Jose, I said Felix Jose caught that last ball in left field, and that would have been a great run because he was playing right when the ball was hit.
Well, you could have said Junior Felix. And he would have had to run from the dugout.
McGwire takes a strike on the black. Right on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Boy, Mark is just going along, generating a very productive year for the Athletics. 20 of his 52 hits have gone the distance. Here's a drive to left, and he really hit it. George Bell was playing on the warning track at that time.
Mark hits very well in Canada. He hit very well over at the Exhibition Stadium. Also hit very well here last year when the stadium opened up. The Sky Dome opened, and the A's came in for the final trip of the season, also the postseason. A couple of games played here.
Had a big Canadian Football League exhibition game here last night. I think that was right here in this ballpark, wasn't it? Yeah, they had a football game here last night. Put down a whole new carpet, new markings. Steinbach fouls it off. When we came in, we noticed lights were on at the old exhibition stadium. That's where they used to play their football games for the Toronto Argonauts.
Just to let the Seagulls know where they have to land, because Seagulls over there, that was one of the biggest problems with that ballpark. Especially afternoon ball games, late afternoon, the Seagulls came in, they would land on right field.
Steinbach faking a bunt, takes outside. Yeah, the score of that game last night, 60-19 or something like that. They don't call them the Argonauts anymore. They shorten it. Argos. The Toronto Argos. Newspaper people probably talked them into changing that. Ball and a strike on Steinbach. Nobody down. We're in the second in a scoreless game. First of 4 here at the Sky Dome. They're going to second, and they still get McGwire. Boy, Kelly Gruber had a slow hopper to third, had to go into foul territory almost to field it.
And I never did see an umpire call it fair or foul.
I kept waiting, and the third base umpire waited to see whether it was past the bag or in front of it.
Nobody ever called it. Gruber doing the right thing, going ahead and playing the baseball. He's over the bag and then looks immediately to second base, and Andy Lee taking the throw, stretching like a first baseman rather than thinking about a double play.
The rule is for the umpires, the home place umpire calls it fair or foul until it gets to the third base bag. Now here is Felix Jose. Some guy saying, you don't look like Jose. He doesn't look like the other Jose. And Cerruti's probably glad the other one's not in the lineup here. Anybody would be if he's a pitcher.
Saw Cerruti's move over to first base. Caught Ricky Henderson last year in postseason. 26 runners attempting to steal. Only 12 were successful with Cerruti on the mound. He gives you a good look to first base and also freezes it with that leg kick, as a lot of left-handers can do. Jimmy Key also does a good job of it.
Ball hit in the air to deep right center field. Mookie Wilson slowing down as he gets to the warning track. He's got it. Felix Jose gave it a good ride, but didn't get it out of here.
He had the right idea going up the middle. However, the ball up in the air too much, as Wilson able to get under it. He has good speed, able to cover a lot of ground in center field here.
Here now is Willie Randolph. And Willie, after a very slow start with the A's, is in the midst of his hottest spell with the bat since coming here. He's had 10 hits in his last 25 at bats, including a double and 3 runs batted in. So he's raised his average 51 points during that stretch. Got out in front of that one, fouled it off. It's really unique to see a team like Detroit and then a team like here in Toronto after playing the White Sox, where they move their outfielders on about every pitch and have some very radical shifts, particularly on men like Randolph, Walt Weiss coming up, Gallego. Boy, they had some of the most radical defensive shifts I've seen in this league. Can't fault them on it. They're leading the league right now. But these teams just sort of play everybody about the same, move over a little bit here and there. Randolph hits one in the air to Mookie Wilson in deep center field, but it's just too big for our guys here in this inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and the score, nothing. Sponsors, radio and television sponsors on this trip to Toronto. I think there are about 60 of them here enjoying so far the weekend. Fred McGriff, after a forkball, not getting it, strike 1.
And Fred McGriff has been very hot. 7 hits in his last 8 at bats. Had 2 home runs last night off Roger Clemens at Fenway Park.
That brought him to number 5 in the home run list in the American League.
He was struggling earlier in this season. The Athletics face him at 15 home runs now, 41 RBIs. You just know that he's going to get hot and start swinging the bat very well.
Stu's ahead of him at 0-2. Strike 3 called. He got him looking. Stu got that outside call that time.
Couple of fork balls, and here comes the fastball. And this is what Dave has been trying to do. He was trying to do it in the first inning to the 2 left-handed hitters. He finally got it to Fred McGriff.
Here's John Olerud, the young designated hitter right out of college to the major leagues. Wow, Gene Tennis was telling me this guy may have the best eyes of anybody he's ever seen in the big leagues. As far as picking the ball up, he said he can pick the spin up on a curveball almost out of the pitcher's hand. He said he's just never seen anybody with an eye like this guy, and he swings at good pitches mostly. Forkball, he's missing that one. Strike 2. That's a heck of a pitch.
You know one other player who could do that very well? Ted Williams.
I heard that, yeah. That's what they always said, that he could see it and he swung at good pitches, and that's the difference of a lot of points on your average. Stu threw that one in the dirt. But Tennis thinks that this man, I said, how good will he be? And he said he's going to be a batting champion in the American League, and more than one time before he quits.
Bobby Doerr played for the Boston Red Sox. There's Gene Tennis. But Bobby Doerr played with the Red Sox, also with Ted Williams, said that this young man has a swing very similar to Ted Williams, and that good eye. Has power. Hits to all fields.
Took a close one right there. Gino said a tough left-hander had him down in the count. He had thrown him 2 fastballs for strikes. Had him down 0-2 and threw a wicked slider. This kid hit it in the second deck in right field for a home run on an 0-2 count from a left-handed pitcher. It's gone to 3-2 right here. And I don't care who it is. You, in order to hit a high average, have got to swing at strikes. He swung at a forkball right there. That was one great pitch, and Olerud is out.
All right, guys, not in Boston now.
A chance to see the 3-2 pitch from Dave Stewart and the swing. I think that might have been the fastball.
Fastball right there. It surely was.
Exactly. Dave struck John Olerud out twice in the 9-inning pitcher performance at the Oakland Coliseum. Bob Walsh got him 3 times here in the ball game, and Dennis Eckersley 1 time. Olerud in the 1 game here against Walsh and Eckersley. 4 at-bats, 4 strikeouts.
Here's Myers. It's 2 misses high. 2 balls and no strikes. We have no score in our game. 2nd inning, 2 down. Nailed the corner with that one. 2-1. Myers, pretty good looking young catcher too. He's got 4 homers, 248 batting average.
Had a collision at the plate. I think it was Lou Whitaker. Ended up going on the disabled list. Pat Waters, their other platoon catcher. Waters hitting from the right side. Came in, did an excellent job hitting against right-handers as well as left-handers. Now that Myers had been back, went back to the platoon.
Our crack statistical crew in our production department has just come up with the fact that Olerud has struck out 8 times in 15 at-bats against the A's.
Yeah. Let's give the credit to the Athletics pitching staff.
Oh, good pitch, and down goes Myers, and Dave Stewart has struck out the side here in the 2nd inning. After 2, there's no score.
Dave Stewart striking out the side in the 2nd inning. Struck out 1 in the 1st inning, so 4 strikeouts for Dave. You know, Monte, watching this jumbotron here, this huge screen, Diamond Vision, they were showing John Cerruti taking his warm-up tosses at an angle, which you see right there from the center field, looking in at the catcher. And if you ever want to try to figure out what a pitcher is throwing, just look at the screen. You don't have to look at television. You don't have to worry about in the on-deck circle. Just look at the screen. That's the best shot you're ever going to get.
That's the best clarity and the best of all of the jumbotrons or whatever you call them. That thing is the best anywhere. Walt Weiss takes a slow curveball for a call strike.
Called a big screen television set. That's
boy, it is. I'd like to have one with that clarity in my living room. Walt Weiss batting .279 coming in tonight, takes a curve low for a ball. Hitting .302 left-handed, .191 right-handed. Look at the size of that thing out there.
Able to put the player's picture up, plus a sponsor on the side of it.
High from Cerruti to Weiss. The A's have had 1 base hit so far in the 2 innings. We got more statistics than we could ever give you on the Sky Dome. Weiss hits the ball deep to left field. He really put a charge in it, and it is caught by Bell, I believe. The umpire hasn't called him out yet. Now he does. Oh my goodness, Walt Weiss really ripped that ball, and Bell caught it plowing into the wall.
Amazing thing about it, he must have hit a post as he was charging in. Walt, great swing on it. Bell not playing as deep as he had been against McGuire, and that's the reason this happened. But he kept his eye on the ball, made a tremendous catch. And you see right there, the space going into the Sox logo. Must have been a bar behind that, but outstanding catch by George Bell.
Well, that ball had a chance of going right out of his glove. It sort of crawled into the pocket after it hit. He got hit in the cheek. Look at that.
He was yelling at his bullpen. Toronto Blue Jays bullpen actually were right above it. He was motioning back to him. Let me know. Let me know. There's the bullpen.
Guys are out there laughing about it. Sitting there with a dislocated jaw. Well, Weiss is not going to hit one any harder than that. If he'd gotten a little more elevation on it, that was gone. Gallego takes inside. Carl Young just come up with this on the Jumbotron we're talking about. The largest video display board in the world. Uses 420,000 light bulbs. 33 feet high, 115 feet wide.
How often do they change those light bulbs?
Gallego fouls it off. I don't know, but if Canseco played here a whole lot, they may have to change it more frequently. He almost hit it earlier this year on a fly. You can buy one of those, folks, if you want one for your living room or wherever. $17 million that one cost. One ball, two strikes on Mike. So I get the feeling that Cerruti stays around. The A's are going to get to him. They're hitting the ball fairly well. Jose ripped one to the right center field alley. It was caught. Randolph hit one deep center. And now Walt Weiss hits it about as hard as he can hit it, batting right-handed. And Gallego rips another one, but it's right at somebody. My. He's not fooling anybody. The A's just don't have very good guidance system on that ball after they hit it.
Well, you just have to keep swinging. They're going to fall in. If you hit them that hard, they're going to find the hose.
Another two down. Back to the top of the batting order is Ricky Henderson. It's no score. The A's through the order one time, have only one base hit off Cerruti. Pitch high for a ball. Tomorrow, Bob Welch pitches for the A's against Dave Stieb. What a matchup that ought to be. Welch is 12-2. Stieb is 10-2. Low to Ricky, ball two. Our Sunday television matchup, Scott Sanderson 9-4 for the A's. Wells 5-2 for Toronto. Strike 2-1. Then to wind it up here on Monday, another afternoon game. Mike Moore for the A's against Jimmy Key of the Toronto Blue Jays. He takes outside. Tomorrow's game will be televised back to the Bay Area, by the way, on CBS. Jack Buck is here tonight watching this game, and he'll be working with Tim McCarver. It will be seen on Channel 5 in the Bay Area tomorrow, 10:15 in the morning. Henderson is on with two down. That is the first walk Cerruti has given up.
I mentioned earlier about Cerruti picking Ricky off first base in the League Championship Series, and probably get a chance to see Cerruti throw over a lot. He was third in pickoff throws last year, so you can imagine the number of throws he made. You talk about statistics. They keep everything. How many times a pitcher throws to first base? 249 times did he throw to first base, trying to keep runners close or pick them off.
But well, on the inevitable climb to the top, Ricky Henderson has 909 steals. He is just 30 away from becoming the all-time leading base burglar in the history of the game. Hendu takes outside, ball one. Ricky's received 49 walks now this year. They've had Dave Henderson's number pretty well. Ricky's asked for a sliding glove to be brought out. Bet Ty Cobb never did that. They didn't have gloves for those guys. In fact, his glove he played with in the outfield wasn't a whole lot bigger than that one. Here's a drive to right field, hit well. It is really hit well, and there she went. Ricky doesn't know it yet, but Renee says, "Coast, baby." Hendu has done it again. A two-out dinger, number 14 for Dave Henderson.
Number 14 for Dave, and Johnson really a little concerned about Ricky Henderson, but Dave Henderson a little closer to the plate, being able to handle that outside pitch. Didn't try to pull it. You know, we talked earlier, this ball carrying very well, and here's an example right here. This ball shot out to right center on the line. No doubt about it.
Low fastball to the outside part of the plate, and Hindu is just hitting everything right now.
You know what? You'd ask the pitcher, you ask the catchers, you can't make a better pitch, and they're right. You make a good pitch low and away. Tip your hat to the hitter for hitting it that hard, but at least you can say it wasn't middle of the plate where he was able to pull it and hit it even harder.
Great example of the fact that here's another ball in the infield hit by Carney, and Gruber throws him out. I started to say if the temptation on every home run hit, say the pitcher made a mistake pitch. Not the case here, but the A's. Well, Dave Stewart has been given a 2-0 lead. He struck out the side in the second inning. He'll face Manny Lee, Mookie Wilson, and Junior Felix here in the third. Interesting statistic we bring to you often. The A's this year have had the lead in 41 ball games, and they have won 35 of them. 35-6 when they score first. Dave missed it outside a ball.
Big inning for the A's because this homestand, the one that just concluded, many times the A's would score and the opposition would come right back the next at bat and score themselves. And right now you just want to shut them down, get back to the dugout.
Manny Lee swung mightily and hit that ball off the end of the bat, sort of cue balled it out to Carney Lansford, who threw him out one away.
You look at Carney making that play. He made it look a lot easier than it actually was. He did not have enough time to catch the ball. This ball's hit off the end of the bat, has a funny spin. I watch Carney at third base. Fields it and throws him right there. Doesn't even plant other than just to make the strong throw. And that's not easy to throw that hard with a fast base runner and make it the throw straight enough so it's not sinking away from the first baseman.
Boy, when he looked up, Lee was on his way, well on his way to first base. So he didn't have time to take that traditional third baseman's hop before he threw. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Mookie way out in front of that one. Boy, Wilson was really a factor in last night's game over in Boston. He dropped 2 fly balls last night. One of them in left center field. Bell ran fairly close to him, but really there was no chance of a collision. Mookie tried to backhand the ball below his knees when he could have caught it straight on. Down he goes, and there are 2 away, and Dave Stewart has now struck out 5 out of the last 7 men he's faced.
I think Mookie Wilson was trying to make the score 2-1 the way he was swinging against Dave in this at bat. Good fork ball, but you see how much he had opened up. He has to hit the ball up the middle of left field. He does not have that much power. Only 1 home run. He has not hit that many home runs in his career. But that's what a good pitcher and making good pitches will do to a hitter.
I'll tell you something, Dave Stewart has got some good stuff going tonight. He's got a good fastball. He's seeing mostly left-handed hitters, so he's throwing that fork ball a lot, and he's throwing it well. Here's Junior Felix, who walked first time up, fouls off the first pitch here. Another one fouled off. Boy, Ray, one thing that makes this such a big take gross money every ball game is they have so many tickets that are high price tickets. 70% of their tickets average $15 and up. He got him looking. Strike 3 call, and a fork ball just dropped over the outside corner. Dave Stewart. July 15th. Bring Aunt Fanny and get a fanny pack. Here's Mark McGuire here at the Sky Dome. They have felt his bat pretty well before. Had a base hit his first time up. We get a quick shot of where, look where their left fielder's playing right now. Strike call. Bell, look at that. Man, is he deep or not? Mark having to adjust his contact lenses. Look at that. That's as far as you can play anybody without just getting up in the seats almost. Inside to McGuire. Tell you what, they had a pretty good knockdown battle over in Boston last night. Stottlemyre threw 2 pitches out of 3 over the head of Wade Boggs. Mark takes it low, a ball. Boggs turned around after the second one to the umpire and said, "What is this?" Joe Morgan came running out, asked what's going on. And it wasn't long after that Stottlemyre hit one of the Red Sox players, Dwight Evans. McGuire goes the other way off the end of the bat and fouls it off. I'm sick of seeing pitchers hit batters right now. Jose Canseco would be back in the lineup for the A's had it not been the first time he came back after his disability. He gets hit on the first pitch, or first time up, and can't come back now for no telling how long. Mark takes that one outside, 3-2. Benito Santiago of San Diego was hit by a pitch, knocked out with a broken wrist or arm. There's a high drive to right field. It may be too high. It is. Felix makes the catch.
A lot of times you see a pitcher throw an off-speed pitch on 2-2, miss, and have to come back with a fastball 3-2. It was just the opposite of what Cerruti did. A fastball that missed, and here comes the curveball. Mark had waited very well on it, but he had gotten a little bit too much weight forward and then lifted it, got under the ball, and the pop-up instead of driving it for a base hit or the home run. But that's the confidence Cerruti has in his off-speed pitches.
Terry Steinbach takes inside. Steiny hit .500 on the last road trip through Chicago and Detroit. Was looking as good as he has ever looked at the plate. Got back home and just seemed to lose it all of a sudden. Pretty good swing on that one. It's 1-1. So hard to be a good hitter in Major League Baseball. Guy standing out there with the ball don't want you to be. Danny out in front of that one, fouls it off. Just looking here, Ray, under the big top here in Toronto, they've had 181 events in here, and they had the roof off for 53 of those. So they're doing most of the shows in here with the dome closed. Tiny fouls off a fastball.
I was a little surprised earlier when word came down that they might open the roof for a night game. You figure that 3-day games, as this is a holiday weekend here, 3-day game starting tomorrow, you figure that weather's nice, they're going to open it then. They could always close it. Only takes 22 minutes to close it should it start to rain. And I think we might see it open this weekend.
I bet we do. We did last year here on a Sunday. We played with it open, I remember, because I stood down there on the field and waiting to catch the team bus. Watched them close it. There's a high drive to left center field. If Mookie Wilson gets this one, he's going to make a long run. It hits the top of the wall. It comes back. It's still in play. Steinbach goes to third with a triple. Oh, how close can you come? Mookie and Bell, who almost ran together in Boston last night, were both closing on this one.
Another breaking ball, this one down low. And Terry Steinbach had seen enough of them, so he waited on this one very well.
Wow, look at that.
You talk about unlucky. That hit the bar that is holding the tarp, the wall up, and came back, hit at an angle so that it bounced back. George Bell reacting, getting the ball in. Terry at third base with a triple.
Okay, keep referring to that Boston game last night because I happened to watch it on television, but they had Wade Boggs hit a ball off the top of the wall in Boston. It bounced halfway back to the infield, and the umpire called it a home run. It hit the top of the wall.
I read that. That's what I couldn't understand. I read it in the game story. If he came back, it's got to be an out. I mean, in play.
The only place he could have hit it and not gotten somebody home, he just hit it right to Gruber at third base. 2 down now. Felix Jose grounding out. Boy, that's where the A's have just had an incredible string of not being able to get somebody home. Get them at third with less than 2 out.
Felix just a little too anxious, which a lot of times hitters will do that. The runner third base. Cerruti very wisely took something off the pitch, had Felix out in front, and the result, the ground ball.
They had their infield in here in the 4th inning to show you the respect they've already developed for Dave Stewart in this game. Now here's Willie Randolph taking a curve low. Skill wise, Felix Jose has got a lot of things going for him. It's a little experience, and he's picking up a lot of it this year, playing in a lot of ball games. He's going to be a good player up here. But there was a case where he was a little bit too anxious. Randolph skied out to center field in the 2nd inning. Strike call, 1-1. The A's lead 2-0. Chicago is playing the Yankees tonight. In case you're wondering what's happening to them, they'll get started a little later, if they haven't already.
Chicago leading 1-0 in the 2nd inning. 7 o'clock start in Midwest.
Two strikes to count on Randolph now. Well, the White Sox have won 7 in a row, and they beat some awfully good pitchers in Oakland and California during their 6-game winning streak out west. Drew Coble looked like he started to pull the trigger right there and didn't. Got a hanging curveball and just got under it.
John Cerruti could very easily have been called for a balk that time, because even with the relaxation of the balk call, he still did not stop. He came to the bounce where, you know, that Rick Honeycutt has been called for it, Bob Welsh. And this is a time you don't need to try to hurry with the runner at third base for fear of getting a balk called on you.
He's gone to 3-2 on Randolph.
Before, Terry Steinbach or Mark McGuire got a 2-2 fastball. This time Willie Randolph a 2-2 breaking ball.
Would you say basically Cerruti is a breaking ball pitcher, though?
Yeah. And if he throws a fastball, it's a sinking fastball away from the right-handers, and possibly even taking a little bit off. He can take something off the fastball. Good arm movement, good motion. Take just enough off that you get out in front and hit the ball on the ground, or just get under it and pop it up.
The only graduate of Amherst College playing the big leagues. Randolph hits it to the shortstop. Fernandez has it. Throws him out, and the A's lose a golden opportunity with a wasted 1-out triple.
On Cerruti, this is what he did with it. It's a home run going out to right center field. Home run number 14 for Dave Henderson. The Athletics a 2-0 lead with Dave Stewart on the mound. Dave with 6 strikeouts in the first 3 innings, pitching very well. He's given up just a couple of walks, actually leading the first, walking the first 2 hitters for the Toronto Blue Jays. One being erased by caught stealing by Terry Steinbach.
Fernandez wants the umpire to take a look at the ball before he steps in there. And remember, tomorrow the A's game with these Toronto Blue Jays will be televised back into the Bay Area on CBS TV. That's Channel 5, which is our flagship station for the A's network. Bob Welch will try for his 13th win. If he gets it, he'll be the first big league pitcher with 13 wins. He's 12-2. He goes against a tough right-hander, Dave Stieb, who's 10-2. Fernandez after the first pitch, fouling it back, strike one. Fernandez, Gruber, and Bell, the middle of the batting order right here in the fourth. And you'll be able to see our telecast on Sunday morning at 10:30 back in the Bay Area on the A's network. Sanderson against Wells. Look at McGuire make this play. There's one of the finest first basemen in baseball today, folks. You hear a lot about his offense. Mark McGuire just continues to play an outstanding defensive first base.
Tony Fernandez going for the hole on the right side, but Mark McGuire diving, something you don't see a lot of players do on artificial surface, and that's dive. But Mark, not afraid of it, gets down, gets up, and leads Dave Stewart on the 3-1 putout. Dave automatically, as pitchers will do, the ball hit to the right side, instinctively moving very quickly to cover first base.
Gruber fouls that ball off into the right side. Mark McGuire has not made an error at first this year. He has gone 78 consecutive games without an error. He's made only one in the last 126 games he's played. Gruber jumped all over that curveball and fouled it into the seats along the left field line. So that's really something, and Mark is proud of his defense. And when we get a chance, we tell people about it, because not everybody looks at that big guy as a defensive first baseman. When you make one error in 126 games, that's something. Besides, you add the great plays like that one he just made, which is not an easy play to make. Well, Gruber's been behind Dave's two fastballs so far.
I think one thing about those statistics that you just reeled off about Mark at first base, something that kind of taken for granted, the number of throws that a first baseman has to take throughout a ball game, all the ground balls, the putouts, the throws from a pitcher, the pickoff throws from a catcher, all those, the possibility of missing one for an error.
And they're not all in the same place either. They don't all come over there chest high.
An infielder might not get the good grip on the baseball cross seam to be able to throw the ball straight, which ideally is what every infielder, every outfielder and catcher wants to do, and throw the ball as straight as possible.
Boy, Dave just is going right at Kelly Gruber with a 0-2 count. He keeps throwing strikes, but they're all different ones. He's throwing a fastball, he's throwing curveballs, and I've not ascertained yet that he's thrown a forkball to him. And whether he has, I don't know. Gruber's getting a grip. That looks like a hook grip. He doesn't hook it. He slices it. It goes off into right. But the A's have a man there when it comes down, and they're two down. Well, he had a pretty good swing at that ball. It was a good pitch. I like to see that in the pitcher, Ray. Pitchers get no balls, 2 strikes, and start dinking around. And first thing you know, they got to throw a 2-2 or a 3-2 pitch. And it's different. You got a batter where you want him at 0-2. I like to see those guys go right at him. Not to throw a super in there, but something good. Here's George Bell. He hits it high and deep to left. The two Hendersons get together a little bit better out there than Wilson and Bell did, and Dave Henderson makes the catch. We've gone through 4. The Blue Jays don't have a hit or a run.
Randy Johnson.
That'll be a good one. Here's Walt Weiss, who got robbed of extra bases in the 3rd inning when he sent George Bell crashing into the wall and left.
I clarify that. That's Robinson pitching for. There's 2 Robinsons. One for the for Detroit. Who was the other one? That's it. The other Robinson. I know there are 2 Robinsons.
Giants.
No. Let me see the scoreboard. 2 Jeff Robinsons. 2 Jeff Robinsons in the American League.
Weiss takes low for a ball, 2-1.
With Milwaukee. There you go.
2-1 count on Walt Weiss, the A's shortstop. He'll be followed by Gallego and Ricky Henderson off Cerruti here in the 5th. Walt hits one deep to short. Fernandez goes over the top, throws it away, but they are backing the play up, and Weiss will be safe. That's almost got to be a hit right there. Tell you, by the time Fernandez got that ball, he likes to throw it underhanded. He looked up, and Walt was right on the bag, and he had to gun it over the top.
And that's one of the things that hurt him. He actually took a lot of time, and he might get an error just for the amount of time that he took and then made the errant throw.
Walt had it beaten out.
Yeah. And here's a guy made only 6 errors all of last year. He's made 7 already this year.
Weiss gets a hit. 6 errors is short in the whole season?
Yep.
Wow. Here's Mike Gallego.
.992 fielding average. Set a major league record with that mark.
Walt has to get back in there. Well, these are 2 of the best fielding teams in baseball, and they're up where they are as a result of a lot of that. And both these shortstops can definitely put on a show. Gallego fakes a bunt, takes it high for a ball.
This is where you have good bunters who can deaden the ball. You try to bunt the ball, especially on an artificial surface, so it doesn't roll hard and get to the third baseman or first baseman who's charging. Sometimes it's actually this dirt around home plate is very wet, actually from watering it as they do prior to batting practice. So
muddy.
Very muddy, especially during batting practice.
Yeah.
You can bunt it down on the dirt part.
Well, or you can bunt it like that, 30 feet in the air.
Hit home plate. It works, whatever.
Weiss sacrificed over to second. Well, if you need somebody moved over with the bunt, I'd about as soon see Mike Gallego there as anybody I know, and that's why. Look at that classic form.
Well, he was trying to hit the dirt part, but got it even better by hitting the plate too high for Cerruti to do anything with it except for one out of first base.
And up comes Ricky Henderson as the A's will have the 2 Henderson now to try to drive in another run in the 5th. 2-0 right now, Oakland leading. John Cerruti has won 4 games for Toronto this year, lost 5. They really bunch Ricky Henderson in the outfield. They're giving him both foul lines.
Say, Cerruti is not stopping at all.
Well, just call a ball.
I'm surprised one hasn't been called on because every umpire is different. Jim Evans, the crew chief at third base.
First base umpire would be one to call it here, wouldn't he? Or the home plate umpire.
That time he fully stops.
And missed outside, ball 2. He walked Ricky with 2 out in the 3rd. And Dave Henderson followed with his 14th homer of the year, and that's the wrap up of the scoring in this game right quickly. Cerruti not real comfortable with where Walt Weiss was in his leadoff there, though his second baseman was way off, the shortstop way off. They're all but giving Walt a 25-foot lead off the bag at second. Look at that, how far they are from the bag, both of them. Lee's going in there a little bit. There she goes. No question where this ball is going to end up. Ricky Henderson has hit one over the wall and left, and it is 4-0 Oakland. Boy, does he love playing up here. Oh, it's bash time here in Toronto.
13th home run for Ricky on a 2-0 pitch, and here's a classic swing. Fastball, middle of the plate, home run to left field. And that's usually what happens with a pitch like that on 2-0. Hitter can look for it. Ball went straight, no tailing away from the right-hander, no breaking or no sinking action.
And up comes the other Henderson. He's already hit one out tonight the other way. Takes a curve high for a ball. I don't know, Ray, if I've ever seen a better triple count hitter than Ricky Henderson. Boy, he gets the pitcher in that count so often. He's always swinging at 3-1 or 2-0. Hindu hits this one in the air. It's going to be in the seats, I believe. Well, almost. Now it is.
I don't think we have any monitors up here which will inform us whether someone is warming up in the bullpens or not. They are behind left. There it is right there.
Willie Blair. Hindu got under that one, and it's in straightaway center field. Mookie Wilson has it, and there are 2 down here in the 5th. Up comes Carney Lansford. Yeah, Ray, you just asked for it. Wally and the guys have it. They've got it. $28 million broadcasting center. They ought to have something. Last year we were here, they didn't even have a place for a monitor on the table. Tonight, Carl couldn't find a place to plug in a phone. Tipped some guy $5 Canadian money, and he plugged it in. American dollars right up here right now. Well, Carney rips one to the shortstop. Wow, did he hit that ball. 2 runs for the A's, 2 hits, nobody left. It's 4-0 Oakland. Let's pause for station identification on the A's TV network.
This is KPIX, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose.
At the Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada, Monte Moore along with Ray Fosse and our television network crew, Carl Young, Ingrid Sarah, Wally Miller, our erstwhile producer, our traveling crew. Fred McGriff hits one to Mike Gallego, who is playing deep. Makes the pickup and a throw to the first, and there's 1 out in the 5th inning. And up comes the young John Olerud. Seen some pretty good products come out of major university baseball programs these days, and several of them coming almost right to the big leagues. Stu makes a perfect pitch on Olerud for called strike 1. Ventura out of Oklahoma State to the White Sox, though he did, I believe, play a little bit in the minors. Mark McGuire up very quickly with the A's out of USC. Stu tried the same pitch and missed with it.
Olerud is the 16th player since the draft started in 1965 to come directly to the major leagues without a stop in minor league baseball. 9 of those 16 have been pitchers.
Called strike.
2 third basemen, 1 catcher, and a couple of outfielders. Olerud, first baseman, designated hitter. Actually, he's been DHing most of the time.
Pops it right straight up. Carney Lansford calling for it. Now this roof on this stadium is a whole lot easier to pick the ball up off of than the one in Seattle, and certainly a lot easier than the one in Minnesota. There's the roof. You can see it dark up there. Different view of it. Boy, that thing in Minnesota, Dave Henderson just can't see a ball coming off the bat up into that. Of course, it's kind of a ball-colored rag top. Greg Myers looks at a forkball low. Hits that one very high, and Henderson is going to have a chance to see this one, and he had to come in a hurry. He might have picked it up a little late. 3 up, 3 down, and through 5 innings, the Toronto Blue Jays have no hits against Dave Stewart.
the camera for us for Sunday.
All right. Well, if we can't get the camera, if they open the roof, we can get our big A's Network blimp in here. We haven't used that very much this year. We haven't had enough air to put in it. But we could get that booger flying up here. Here's Mark McGwire now in the 6th inning. It's the first pitch in the air, down the line and right. Somebody ought to get that one. Manny Lee does in fair territory. That's a good catch once he got there. I thought the right fielder would have that ball.
It's not an easy play. He had a long way to run as he was shading Mark over towards second base. Able to look, and now he's going to overrun it just a little. Junior Felix right there. Felix might have had a better shot at it, but Manny Lee with excellent speed able to get under it. I think one of the toughest things for a player who has to run that far for a ball is to be able not to juggle the head, move the head so much as the ball seems like it's moving. You have to try to run as steady as you can and keep your eye on the ball so that when you do get to it, you don't overrun it.
You saw him take his eye off the ball for just a moment. I don't know if he's looking for a player or the wall or what, but he took his eye off to see where he was and still was able to pick it up again. And the best I've ever seen at that was Dick Green. He used to look all around him, see what was going on, and still pick that ball up back again and make the catch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Terry Steinbach. 1 out, 6th inning. The Athletics are leading the Blue Jays 4-0. White Sox ahead of the Yankees 1-0 in the 3rd. Seems like every time I look up lately, the White Sox pitching staff has got a bunch of zeros hanging up there for everybody else. They are on a roll pitching wise right now. Steinbach back on track, rips another one hard into left center field. That's his 2nd hit in a row. Stanley's going for second. Hustle double for Terry Steinbach. Mookie Wilson over there a little casual, and Steinbach just kept on running.
Well, Terry was running hard to first base as he thought the ball might hit the gap anyway. Mookie Wilson having to backhand it. Terry saw that, and the throw coming in, but he was able to see more than anything that it was going to the cutoff man, Tony Fernandez, and not to second base, which is a little surprising at that.
He even short hopped the cutoff man. Or relay man, as he's more aptly named. 1 out, runner at second. Here's Felix Jose, 0 for 2 tonight. Strike, it's in there. Good to see Steinbach swinging that bat so well again. Well, Felix is getting more playing time than I bet even than he thought leaving spring training. Takes a curve low. An unusual series starting on a Friday night, ending Monday afternoon here in Toronto. But I understand next year there'll be a lot of those series on the road for teams in the American League where they will play through Monday rather than through Sunday. Curved outside. The big reason being ESPN's Sunday night ball game. Usually Sunday's a travel day. You play a game in the afternoon and travel somewhere, but if you have to play a Sunday night game and travel somewhere, particularly going back home or something, makes a difference. Felix Jose hitting well with men in scoring position. He's got one right there now. He had one at third the last time up with less than 2 out. Hammering on that one. He misses. Strike 2. Well, when the A's came in here last night, that Toronto International Airport was absolutely filled with people. It's a big holiday weekend up here. Those airplanes emptying out from all over the world. That International Airport having everybody going through customs. Ground ball is short. They got a play at third. Steinbach gets in a rundown. Now they're going to have a man go to second base. Great running by Terry Steinbach. Not too well executed by the Toronto Blue Jays. It allowed Jose to get to second.
Terry thinking that he was going to have a chance to get there, but Fernandez the throw. But the problem right here is that he throws it there instead of running him back farther, giving Felix Jose now a chance to go to second base. So you have the same situation, probably with the faster runner at second than Felix Jose. But good move on Terry Steinbach's part, which, yes, Terry, it does take it out of you as you try to get in a rundown like that.
Man, that was what took 4 throws to get him. Now Willie Randolph with the chance to drive in another run. The A's lead it 4-0 right now, and there's a ball right back to the mound. Cerruti's got it, throwing him out. Nice defensive play by the Toronto pitcher. Last win, of course, was against the A's, and the White Sox are leading at 1-0. White Sox had 4 hits, the Yankees 3. There's the line score. The A's 4 runs, 6 hits, and a bunch of zeros for the Blue Jays. Dave Stewart has been outstanding. He walked the first 2 men to start this ball game. One of them was nailed stealing on a great throw by Terry Steinbach and an even greater diving tag by Mike Gallego. After that throw of Junior Felix attempting to steal, Fernandez walked, but then Stu struck out Gruber and Bell. He had struck out 6 batters through 3 innings. Hasn't struck out any of the last couple of innings. Strike in the outside corner to Manny Lee. So Stu got 6 strikeouts out of the first 10 batters he faced. Here's a backdoor curveball for strike 2. Stu doesn't throw that too often. Fastball misses high. This is the longest road trip of the year for the A's. They're just starting it tonight. There'll be 12 games on this trip. He struck him out. Just power pitching right there. Manny Lee, strikeout number 7 for Stu.
They've had 9 strikeouts, season high for him in his last start last Sunday. This one, it's a good old fastball outside.
Up comes Mookie Wilson. Now this trip will carry the A's to 4 cities. Two down in the 6th. But after this road trip is over, Ray, we'll have a little home cooking. 28 games out of the next 35 after this road trip. The A's play at home. 28 out of 35. That's pretty good.
4 of those down in Anaheim. A 4-game weekend series of the away games, 3 at the Metrodome.
Well, this is a critical road trip for the A's. If anything can be critical this time of year. The White Sox are at home most of the time. The A's are on the road this time. They may have been tough at home, but they've been particularly tough on the road lately. Stu gets a strike over. It's 1-1. Junior Felix walked and struck out tonight. With that 2-strike foul back, Carney Lansford loosens up about 20 feet at third, backing up now and playing deep. Stu just missed buzzing that outside corner with that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Felix is just sort of flat-footed swinging at that ball, trying to go the opposite direction.
Guy can do so many things. He has power. He's got 10 home runs. He has good speed, especially from the left side. He just likes to slap the ball to shortstop and use his legs to try to beat it out.
Second baseman Mike Gallego flips it over to first, almost too high to Mark McGwire. He knew he had to hurry because of what Ray was just saying. Dave Stewart's got a no-hitter going through 6 innings here in Toronto. Here's Walt Weiss. Rips that ball down into the corner in left field. Bell will play it around off the ricochet out there. And Weiss is really swinging that bat from the right side now. It's his second base hit in this ball game, and his first time up, he almost got a double off the wall.
Very quick inside as he hit the ball against the wall. Also the base hit. This time turned on it. Gruber no chance. Playing off the line a little, but he's been working hard and starting to pay off.
So Weiss is there with the leadoff double in the 7th inning. The A's lead it 4-0. Let's see how Mike Gallego, who sacrificed Walt to second the last time, tries to move him to third this time. Very rarely will this little guy play a game when he doesn't make some spectacular defensive play, and he made it on a tag out in the first inning tonight. Off speed pitch outside. Kind of surprising to see that kind of a pitch in this situation where you know the batter's going to try to hit it to the right side.
Willie Blair, the right-hander, up again for the Blue Jays.
Ran up, didn't have to bunt. It was low and inside for ball 2. There's that bullpen. Even the dugouts here have to have a monitor to show who's throwing in the bullpen. They can't see them. They're out of sight here. There's a monitor right next to Cito Gaston.
And the A's also looking at their monitor to see who's warming up.
There's a beautiful bunt by Gallego. Cerruti throws to first. He gets his man. McGriff taking the throw. Gallego again, successful sacrifice.
Good thing about that bunt, he bunted it hard enough towards third that Gruber, who wanted actually to get back to third base for the possibility of getting Weiss at third, he had to break in thinking that Cerruti was not going to get the ball. As a result, Cerruti's only play was to go to first base.
And up comes Ricky Henderson, who has walked, scored a run ahead of Dave Henderson's homer in the 3rd, and hit a 2-run homer of his own in the 5th. And that might be all for Cerruti. They have just made the sign that is all for Cerruti. So Gaston makes a pitching change. We'll bring in Willie that we saw throwing out there a little while ago. And while he's coming in, we're going to step out. The score 4-0 Oakland.
Call to the bullpen.
He's mostly a sinker slider pitcher. Tries to keep the ball down low. He's pitched well out of the bullpen since Jimmy Key back in the rotation.
Willie's just 24 years old, and he's from Paintsville, Kentucky. Well, actually, that's where he's born. He now lives in West Van Leer, Kentucky. Must face Ricky Henderson of Oakland, California. The infield is in. Throws him a breaking ball in the first pitch, and Ricky ducks out of the way to watch it snap over for a call strike. Pretty pitch. Way outside. Nice stop by Myers. A's on top of the ball game. Many of you may just be getting home from commuting. Dave Stewart has pitched 6 innings without allowing a base hit to Toronto. Ricky Henderson hits a ball high enough into center field. It should score. Walt Weiss. Mookie Wilson getting under it, getting a throwing stance, but he didn't have nearly the arm to get there. Nobody even chased it. That hit on the pitcher's mound to the right side. The catcher didn't go for it. The pitcher didn't go for it. And the A's get a run on the sacrifice fly by Ricky Henderson, his 3rd RBI of the night.
All he was trying to do was exactly what he did, and that's hit a fly ball to center field. And hitters, good hitters with the runner at third base, will make the adjustments. Middle part of the field, try to hit a fly ball to center field. And if you happen to get fooled, you can hit a ball deep to left field.
Here's Dave Henderson, who hit one as deep as you can hit it to right. Or as deep as you need to hit it to right. It was over the fence for a homer. Takes breaking ball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Remember, our next telecast on the A's network will be Sunday morning at 10:30. Scott Sanderson tries to hit the double digits in wins. He's got 9 so far. Goes against Wells. Hindu takes it low for ball 3. But you'll be able to see the A's on CBS Channel 5 in the Bay Area tomorrow morning at 10:15. Bob Welch against Dave Steve, and what a pitching matchup that is. Ball 4. It's only the second A's batter to walk in the game. This one comes with 2 out, brings up Carney Lansford, who the last time up hit a rope to the shortstop. Fernandez didn't have to move to catch it. Just raised his arms high above his head, and there it was. Carney bounces one to Fernandez at short. Underhanded toss to Lee at second for the force on Dave Henderson, and that's all for the A's. We go.
You can hit a ball deep to left field.
Here's Dave Henderson, who hit one as deep as you can hit it to right. Or as deep as you need to hit it to right. It was over the fence for a homer. Takes breaking ball outside. Two balls and no strikes. Remember, our next telecast on the A's network will be Sunday morning at 10:30. Scott Sanderson tries to hit the double digits in wins. He's got 9 so far. Goes against Wells. Hindu takes it low for ball 3. But you'll be able to see the A's on CBS Channel 5 in the Bay Area tomorrow morning at 10:15. Bob Welch against Dave Steve, and what a pitching matchup that is. Ball 4. It's only the second A's batter to walk in the game. This one comes with 2 out, brings up Carney Lansford, who the last time up hit a rope to the shortstop. Fernandez didn't have to move to catch it. Just raised his arms high above his head, and there it was. Carney bounces one to Fernandez at short. Underhanded toss to Lee at second for the force on Dave Henderson, and that's all for the A's. We go to the last half of the 7th. Dave Stewart carries a no-hitter to the mound. It is 5-0 Oakland.
And the previous start 139. But this just shows the conditioning of Dave Stewart. Works hard in between so that he can come out, make as many pitches as he did in those 2 starts. Comes out tonight and probably has about the best stuff that he's had all year.
And he's walked only a couple of batters. They were the first 2 batters he faced in the game. He has struck out 7. Faces now Tony Fernandez, then Kelly Gruber and George Bell. He started for the American League last year in the All-Star game. Good fastball, I tell you. Waiting in the dugout as long as he waited for that 7th inning to get over. He came out there throwing hard right then. That was a buzzing fastball.
I think one of the things you mentioned, very tough going the last 3 innings to do what Nolan Ryan has done 6 times, and that's pitch a no-hitter. But the fact that Dave has limited his pitches in the first 6 innings going to make him as strong, if not stronger, the last 3.
Struck him out. 1 out in the 7th. Ray, let me ask you this. You caught no-hitters. In fact, you caught one Dennis Eckersley pitched in Cleveland. Right. The pressure comes now the rest of the way in a no-hitter in pitch selection like it doesn't come at any other time in the game. Now, Dave Stewart basically calls his own game, doesn't he?
He has an idea. He puts the ball in his glove as he's waiting right now. The ball is in his glove with the pitch that he wants to throw. Now, if Terry Steinbach calls that pitch, he will go to it, which that's what happened. Otherwise, he will add or subtract to the pitch that he has already set the ball for in his glove.
You'll see Dave with his gloved hand wipe on his pants leg often. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times after he gets the sign. He didn't do it this time. He agreed on Terry's first signal. Gruber takes outside a ball.
And that's usually when he wipes the leg, that's a subtract. Adding is on the chest.
Boy, you really got to start thinking about what is my best pitch. He wiped twice right then. Threw a breaking ball. It's fouled off. He's thrown that breaking ball tonight to Gruber more than he has, I think, all the other guys combined in this game.
Randy Johnson threw his no-hitter against Detroit up in Seattle. He said afterwards that he had the grip on the ball for every pitch, and Scott Bradley, his catcher, was putting that pitch down. So they were in sync. Everything was working right, and that's what happens in a game. When you're going along as smoothly as the A's have tonight, everything clicks. You get a feel. I don't think you won't change the pitch selection from a catching standpoint. The only thing, I feel very strongly that if you're down at 3-2, instead of giving in a fastball, go to the 4th ball breaking ball. If you have a no-hitter on the line, you're looking at a 5-run lead. You have to think about it.
Fouled off. Well, a lot of people at home probably seeing those yo-yos up there talking about it, and they're going to jinx Dave Stewart.
We don't have anything to do with it.
I've never believed in that at all.
We don't have a thing to do with it.
If we did, he'd pitch a no-hitter every time out. Here's a ground ball to Walt Weiss. He comes up with it. And there are 2 down in the 7th inning. That was good defensive positioning right there. Walt had shaded Gruber over towards third base, or he wouldn't have gotten to that one. The attendance tonight, 49,817. That's all they get in here. Now here's George Bell. .288 hitter. He has hit a fly ball to left, a fly ball to center tonight. Stu wiped 3 times on his pant leg that time. And missed high with a fastball. Whatever it was that Steinbach put down, Stu added 3 to it, and they started to circle over again. Came up with a 1. High, ball 2.
Talking to Scott Sanderson after his last start. Of course, Scott is just learning the forkball, and he said he has to put the ball in the glove so that he can almost have the fingers around the baseball when he wants to throw the forkball. He says Dave Stewart has such long fingers that he can put the ball in his glove, and as he puts his hand in, as we see the ball is in his glove, he brings the ball up in the glove. He can wrap the fingers over the baseball for the forkball. Of course, he has been throwing it a lot longer than Scott Sanderson.
There's a 3-0, now it's 3-1. And if you're going to lose a no-hitter, this is a count that you've got to be careful right here. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, and we'll see right now if he comes in with the fastball.
He did, and Bell swung from his heels. I want to tell you, he was not trying to break up a no-hitter. He was trying to break up a shutout. Now 3-2. This is what Ray Fosse calls time to...
But you know, Dave has such good confidence, great confidence in his fastball. He may just say, I'm going to challenge it. He can right now rear back and get a little bit extra on the ball.
Fly ball to right field. That should be caught. Dave Stewart is 6 outs away from a no-hitter. The A's are leading 5-0. The A's have 7 hits. The Blue Jays 0. Mark McGuire deep to short. Fernandez over the top. Great arm, and he throws him out. 1 down in the 8th inning. Ray, right now, what do you think Dave Stewart would like to have? A quick 1-2-3 inning by his teammates, or a little more rest?
You know, Dave doesn't think about that. He says, hey, go along, whatever.
Whatever,
he can regroup. He can take whatever situation is presented with him. If they score 5 runs, fine, great. He is looking for offense. Matter of fact, before the ball game, I said, good luck, Stewart. He said, go around and talk to the offense. He said, give me 5 or 6 runs. He said, I'll do the job. You know, so he's got 5 on the board right now.
Well, he's got 3 tough left-handed hitters in a row in the 8th inning. McGriff, Olerud, and Myers. Pitch it outside a ball. The big thing, of course, in everybody's mind is to win the ball game. For the A's, who need badly to have a good road trip. Steinbach has had a couple of hits tonight, including a triple right off the top of the wall, probably within, what'd you say, 3 or 4 inches of being a home run.
Well, it's just a matter of the way the ball went down. It hit on top at an angle that allowed it to bounce back at the lower part or the front part of that bar. We're told that Tom Hinkie, the Blue Jays stopper, is warming up in the bullpen.
Tiny had a good cut of that fastball, fouled it off. There's Hinkie. His wife threw out the first ball of the game tonight. Not at the game, but the ceremonial first pitch from the mound. She got a pretty good arm. She probably ended up catching him during the winter some. Tiny takes low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This pitcher is Willie Blair. John Cerruti pitched 6 in the 3rd inning tonight. Gave up all 5 runs. The A's have 7 hits, 2 of them homers. 1 by Dave Henderson, 1 by Ricky Henderson. And he fouls another one back. 49,817. That will increase their per game average even more. Coming into this series, the Toronto Blue Jays had averaged 45,908 per game, and they get almost 50,000 here tonight. Got him looking. That was a good slider right there.
Good in a sense for him that it throws Terry is on the inside part of the plate. Usually like to get the breaking ball outside, but this ball very hard stayed on the inside part, and Terry gave up on it.
Quick slider. That ball really broke quickly. Now here's Felix Jose batting left-handed for the first time tonight. He was 0 for 3 as a right-handed batter. He gets a breaking ball too, and it's a strike. 2 out in the 8th inning. Don't leave us. We've got a no-hitter going into the 8th by Dave Stewart of the A's. Foul ball out of play.
Well, it sure sounded like it broke his bat.
Yeah,
it did. Hit off the end of it. Maybe he checked it and said no.
Kansas City and Detroit are tied up 1-1 in the 3rd. Pop this one foul. Chicago White Sox and the Yankees have played 5 innings now. It's still 1-0 Chicago through 5 innings. They know what this score is. You can bet on that. 5-0 Oakland right now with 2 out in the 8th inning. Felix having some pretty good cuts. Shutouts this year. The A's have been involved in 12 shutouts. The A's have won 7 by shutout and lost 5. They were only shut out 5 times all last year, the A's, and they've already been shut out 5 times this year. Oh, he turned it over on him. That's the first time he's thrown that pitch, and he struck out Felix Jose. We go to the last half of the 8th inning. Dave Stewart takes a no-hitter to the mound.
Detroit and Kansas City 1 apiece, but the news is right here. Dave Stewart facing Fred McGriff in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Here's the guy who led the league in home runs last year. First pitch to him is a perfect strike over the outside corner. Looks like he threw him a forkball right there. Fred McGriff. He struck out tonight and grounded out. Fly ball deep center field. Dave Henderson back, running out of room, but he's got it. If you got anybody chasing a ball that you want caught, that's the guy to send after it right there.
Now, this is the type of swing that Fred McGriff, because it's a fork ball. And Dave looking back. Dave Henderson headed his mind all the way. Come on, come on. He's talking to it. Yeah.
Talking to it. Now here's John Olerud, 0 for 2 tonight. Swinging strike on a fork ball. Dave Stewart 5 outs away from a no-hitter. Olerud got out in front of that one, fouled it off. He is ahead of the batter at 0-2. Nothing in sports carries the impact of the last couple of innings of a potential no-hitter. Just missed inside. He's pitched Olerud there a whole lot tonight, I've noticed. Tried to keep the ball inside around his knees several times. He has gotten him with fork balls a few times.
And that's because Olerud goes to left field very well, and he wants to try to keep it inside.
Tried to go to left with that one and fouled it off.
That's what happens, as you talked about Gene Tennis saying he waits, has a good eye. The hitter's using the entire field. He can pour a turn on a pitch on the inside part of the plate. However, if the pitch is outside, he'll take it to left field.
It's kind of a hitter. It's tough to get out of that situation. Fork ball. He waited on that one and fouled it off. Dave left that one a little higher than he wanted to, I'm sure. Boy, he's anxious to throw, isn't he? He got that ball back from the umpire, stuck it in the glove, and said, let's get on with it. 1 out, 8th inning, 5-0 to score. That's not the big story. Olerud fouled a fastball off. These guys worry you, Ray, in this kind of situation because he can get the bat on the ball pretty frequently. And he's not over swinging. Little looper foul off third again. Into the seats.
Let's go, buddy. All yours, right here. You got him.
Went upstairs with a fastball. Does this worry you, Ray, if you're a catcher and a guy just keeps getting wood on it?
It worries you, but he has the pitch that he's not throwing. Of course, he has thrown the fork ball that he left out, but it's not as if the count is in Olerud's favor. He is down 1-2.
He struck him out with a fork ball. 2 down in the 8th inning of the no-hitter.
That's a pitch that he knew he could come back with, and he took something off the fork ball. Saved fastballs, and then here comes the fork ball. Down in the dirt.
Not a lot of emotion there, but it's burning deep inside. You can bet on that. Here's Greg Myers. He is struck out and flied to center field. 2 out, 8th inning. Fork ball, strike 1. The big guy is in control right now. Strike 2. That one hit Terry Steinbach somewhere.
Got him in the shin guard. And the ball bounced that far, you know it has to hurt. Think, well, it's a fork ball, not throwing that hard, but it picks up speed when it hits the bat and it's fouled back.
Oh, he's ahead of another batter at no balls and 2 strikes. He's been ahead of almost every hitter, though he did get behind George Bell at 3-1 with 2 out in the 7th inning. Came back and got him on a fly ball. He struck him out. We're going to the 9th inning. Stewart will go with a no-hitter into the 9th. 5-0 Oakland. Athletics in the ninth inning. It'll be Willie Randolph, and they'll be going against a new pitcher. There's Tom Hinkie on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. Hinkie, their stopper, is getting a little work here tonight. He has been in 28 games already and has an earned run average of 1.75, so he's been very effective. 36 innings, allowing 24 hits. He's got 12 saves out of 12 save opportunities. And you just got to feel good when you go into a ball game and see a Tom Hinkie that you're not seeing him in his normal position, and that is trying to save a ball game. That means you're behind. But tonight the A's are leading at 5-0. Now, if you're looking ahead to who will be batting for the Blue Jays in the ninth, we'll tell you in a moment. It'll be 3 more left-handed batters. Randolph takes from Hinkie outside. Here's the score in the 6th inning now. The White Sox are still leading the Yankees 1-0. Somebody will score off the White Sox one of these days. Willie fouls it away. Strike one. Randolph tonight is skied to center, grounded to short, grounded back to the mound. In the ninth for the Blue Jays, Manny Lee will lead off. Mookie Wilson bats second and Junior Felix third. 3 little left-handed hitters. They've had about an entire left-handed hitting lineup except for Bell tonight. Randolph fouls it back. It's 1-2. Stewart has struck out 10 batters. He has not allowed a base runner since the second man in the 1st inning. Hinkie let up a little bit, and Randolph fouled it back. Well, call all your friends and neighbors and tell them to tune that TV set in for the ninth. Whether Stu gets that no-hitter or not, it's an exciting possibility, isn't it? Check swing foul by Willie Randolph. Stu has pitched 1 shutout this year. Here's the man who got 2 of the runs for him, actually 3 of them. Ricky Henderson has driven in 3 of the runs and scored 2 tonight himself. And Willie is hanging in there tough right now against Hinkie. Sidearm hook misses outside. 2-2. That's a wicked pitch. 2 strikes on you. Strike 3. He called him out. Well, that was a long battle with Willie Randolph and Tom Hinkie. Finally won by Hinkie, though not convincingly, according to Randolph. Willie is a designated hitter tonight, still talking to the umpire as he walks away from the plate. Let's don't get a lot of distractions going here now. Here's Walt Weiss, who's had a couple of hits tonight. He scored 2 runs, and the only time they got him out, it was with a 375-foot blast to the wall and left, and Bell made a great catch. Off-speed pitch to Weiss. Two and 1. Walt hit all 3 balls tonight very authoritatively off Cerruti, the left-hander. Been his best night batting right-handed all year. Hits this one in the air down the line and left. Bell may have a play on it. He has. There are 2 down in the 9th inning. Mike Gallego, the A's second baseman, will come to the plate now. Stewart continues to look on. In isolation booth, he might as well be. Nobody's talking to him. Two strikes the count on Gallego now. He struck him out. Well, hang around now. We're going to go to the last of the 9th, and that man, Dave Stewart, carries a no-hitter into the last half of the 9th inning. Half of the 9th inning, Manny Lee for the Toronto Blue Jays. Strike 1 to count. Lee, a switch hitter, batting .250 left-handed, .316 right, .289 overall. The fans buzzing here in Toronto, 49,817 of them. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1 now. Lee fouls it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mookie Wilson on deck, then Junior Felix. That trio stands between Dave Stewart and a no-hitter. He's got the first out. 11 strikeouts for Dave Stewart, including the last 3 in a row. Now up comes the center fielder, Mookie Wilson. Good fastball. Look at Dave Stewart's reaction here after this one gets by. Just turns his head and spins around. He just powered it by him. Strike 1. He's had all pitches going since the very first inning of this game. Swinging way late. Wilson fouls it away, and Stu is ahead of him at no balls and 2 strikes. He struck him out. Stewart 1 out away from a no-hitter. 12 strikeouts for the big man tonight. The last 4 in a row. Let's look at this one again. Just a tailing fastball. Now it's Junior Felix. And now the Toronto fans are applauding Dave Stewart. Look at this. They're standing here in Toronto. Junior Felix takes up high, ball 1. He has walked tonight. He's struck out and he's grounded out. Tried a breaking ball there and missed with it. He's behind Felix 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. One of the hardest things in all of sports. Nailing down the last out of a no-hitter. Got that one over. Felix taking all the way at 3 balls and 1 strike. The defensive guys are all right on their toes and hoping the ball is hit to them. Fouled away. Strike 2. We're going to go right down to a 3-ball, 2-strike count. 2 out in the last half of the 9th inning. And Dave Stewart, a strike away from a no-hitter. And now almost everybody's standing here at the Sky Dome in Toronto. They're cheering for the opponent. Fouled away by Felix. You saw a flat-footed swing right there. Just reaching out there, trying to touch it. Two. Just changed his posture out there. Walked him. So the suspense goes on, but the no-hitter is still intact. That's the first base runner for Toronto since the first inning. And now he must face Tony Fernandez, the shortstop. There's the A's bullpen. Very intently watching to see if their man, Dave Stewart, can get into the baseball record books with a no-hitter. Strike 1 on Fernandez. They're paying no attention whatever to Junior Felix at first base. McGuire's playing deep behind him. Carney Lansford is playing shallow in the infield at third. That's the right side of the infield. You see Gallego. Fly ball to center field. Dave Stewart has a no-hitter. Raises the arm. Look at his teammates. There's nobody they'd rather see get a no-hitter than that man right there. Let's just watch. Skipper LaRussa. What a moment, fans. What a moment. Mike Norris. Felix Jose. Dennis Eckersley. Joe Klink. Ricky Henderson standing right behind him. Rick Honeycutt out of the bullpen. Jamie Quirk. Gene Nelson. And there's Ricky. Todd Burns. Jay Albus, director of publicity out there. He'll be lining up for interviews. They're taking him over to Ray Fosse, who's down on the field. He's getting a standing ovation here in Toronto. Dave Stewart right there with our man, Ray Fosse. A no-hitter. Dave Henderson out there to give him the baseball. Hindu made the last catch of the ball game. And Dave Stewart's being hooked up there by Carl Young. And Dave, can you hear us?
Yeah.
He can hear us. Congratulations, big man. That was a great thrill.
Thank you. I don't know how I did it, but we got it done.
When did you start thinking about it?
About the 5th inning on, I was aware that, I had one going, and I just kept thinking one hitter at a time, one strike at a time.
Stu, after the first 2 hitters, 2 walks to Felix and then Fernandez, did you ever in your mind think that this would happen after those first 2 hitters?
Well, I just figured, experience and having a slow start in the first innings, that if I just simmered down, I'd be all right. I never thought about throwing a no-hitter. I've had people mention it to me for a number of times, and I've always said, heck, I'll probably be the last to throw a no-hitter, and shoot, I guess it's just one of those things. But, before the game, I said a prayer and asked for strength, and it worked.
Dave, throughout the ball game, we were commenting, you seemed to have every single pitch you had working. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, it was a good night. I was getting a fastball over. When I went to the fork ball, it worked for me. And then, when I need to throw the breaking ball, even that worked for me. So it was a good night for me as far as, getting my pitches over.
You had a chance with George Bell, 3-2, and I know you like to challenge, but what was in your mind as far as the type of pitches that you were going to throw if you did get in the count where it was in the count, the favor of the hitter?
Well, I was just thinking, if the count goes in favor of the hitter, I'm just going to try to make the best pitch I can possible without, going to the middle of the plate.
Fred McGriff hit a ball to center field. We had the camera on you after the ball was going to center field. What was going through your mind on that? Looked like a fork ball that he hit to center field.
I was thinking that he got it, and I wasn't sure. I didn't think he'd leave the park, but I thought he hit it well enough